I don't know who this is for in particular, but I do know who this is for in general. Return to your first love. You know, the Bible tells us that in the last days there will be a great falling away. And that's talking about Christians. Basically saying that people will leave Jesus. People will turn their back on God. And I know I'm not the only one. I know people personally who have done this. Isn't it crazy how people can choose to turn their back on God, to walk away from God in a time where we truly need God the most, in a time where we see prophecy being fulfilled right before our very own eyes, when we see God's word literally coming to pass? That this is not a time where you should be walking away from God, but this is a time where people should be running to God. Because to be honest, before it gets any better, it's going to get worse. There will be no peace until the Prince of Peace has come, which means that the rapture has to take place, which means that the tribulation has to take place. And by God, you do not want to be one of those that are left behind, that's left here after God has taken away his people out of the earth, and the earth is left to fend for themselves at a time where grace will not be as sufficient for you. Because grace is now. God's grace is now. The time and the opportunity to take on God's grace, to be saved by his grace, is now. This is the dispensation of grace that we are quickly about to exit. You know, Satan is enticing so many people today. I can't quite understand how, with everything that's going on in the world, that people can turn away from God. Return to your first true love while you still have the time. I'm here today to deliver this message to the one who has walked away, to the one who has turned their back on God, to the one who has said, I want to do it my way, to the one who wants the world but don't want God. God says, return to me, return to your first true love, for I remember your works. I remember how you used to worship me and praise me and spend time with me. I remember. Your father misses his child, just like any father who would miss their child that has left home and no longer is in contact with them. Baby, listen, it's not too late. No matter where you've been, no matter what you've done, what matters is now. While we're in this dispensation of grace, you still have time. Return back to your first true love. It doesn't matter what you've done up until this point. His love, his grace, his mercy is sufficient enough for you.